Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Emilia. Hi, Maud.
Hi, how are you? Oh,
good, thank you. Lovely to meet you. This is
Good.
our office in Tuscany.
Wow.
Nice to get through.
Okay, so I thought it was like a screen, a background screen, but no, that's reality, right?
No, it's the real background, yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
we can see someone who is stealing, some bottles.
Yeah. This is wonderful. Lovely to meet you guys. I have both rare champagnes, actually. I have the 2008 normal.
Okay. All right.
And I've got the 2012 rosé. So maybe we could talk through and taste both together.
So, but you are here to test some wine. So 2008 and before that, like what is Rare Champagne? Rare Champagne, it was the prestige cuvée of Piper at Sick, but today it's a standalone brand. And the philosophy behind Rare Champagne is only vintages, not every year, of course. We started the story of Rare Champagne. The first vintage of Rare Champagne is 1976, and the 2008 you have right now is only the 11th vintage of white vintage for Rare Champagne. We have the bottle here, the same than you. Only few vintages and small quantities. As you can imagine, rare, it's rare for the frequency of the vintages, but also the quantity of bottle we produce every year. It really depends on the quality we have, available. We have the ability of having grapes from pretty much everywhere in Champagne, thanks to Piper at Sick. And so we have the ability to choose to make a vintage or not, and decide also, what amount of bottle we produce according to the quality we have. So the blend
of grapes in rare, is it from all over, from Montagne de Reims, from Côte de Blanc, from all over?
Everything is open. There is no door which is closed, especially because since I arrived, we started to implement blind testing in order to, really judge the quality of the wine according to the wine itself and not like a name or a cru on the label. So everything is open today, and we have grapes coming from everywhere in Champagne. The tradition and the blend of Rare Champagne is 70% Chardonnay and 30% Pinot Noir from the very beginning. And it can change, but very slightly. So we keep that kind of style and recipe since 1976. And also, we know that we have some cru, some areas, some terroirs that fits perfectly with the style of Rare Champagne. And especially the Montagne de Reims, indeed, even for the white part of the blend, especially Villers-Marmerie, which is a cru, which is in the blend for, since the beginning. And still today, when we make blind testing, because of the style and the unicity, the minerality, the tropical aromas also we get from Villers-Marmerie, it fits to the style of rare. And also, it's 8, so 8 is very cold with a lot of freshness, minerality. So we have also some coconut for me. And sometimes, like 2006, which is a way more warmer vintage, more sun and stuff, you have more roasted pineapple, sometimes some mango as well. So the tropical aromas can differ from one vintage to another, but yes, indeed, it's something that we have in each vintage. Side by side with that tropical notes, we most of the time have a lot of spiciness also, oriental notes, kind of some tea leaves, black tea leaves. It can be vanilla, it can be cumin, it can be this type of spices, very delicate and elegant that are present most of the time, and then also a nice touch of toastiness and minerality, which is also linked with the style of Rare Champagne.
How much is from the Montagne de Reims?
In the 2008, it's the majority of the whites, which is balanced also with the Chardonnay from Côte de Blanc, and also some touch of Monguet.
And are they Premier and Grand Cru? Mostly?
Not only, because as I said, Monguet sometimes is in the blend. Monguet, which is close to 3. For me, it has the quality of a Grand Cru, but it's not. But it's like a great terroir. But it's like you have probably, let's say, 90% of Grand Cru and Premier Cru. But again, the door is not closed, and what it's driving it is really the quality of the wine itself. And for the Pinot Noir, same thing. It's mainly Verzy, so just next door. Also Montagne de Reims, just next door to Villers-Marmerie. And then on the palate, what we're looking for is also the minerality, of course, which is linked to Rare. And also, when I mean minerality, it can be, I mean, everybody use that word, but that touch of...
the saltiness almost. When I taste this almost like saline undertones, it's, I guess, what some people call minerality, or...
That's
you have the very ripe tropical fruit character, but underneath you have this like saline note that brings freshness to it.
And the silkiness, the bubbles. I mean, this is the current vintage on the market, 2008. So regarding the other prestige cuvées that are on the market, we have a long aging, and rare needs time. 8 is a vintage that can age almost forever, especially for the blend we made for rare. But in any case, rare needs time to age. We need that slow aging to get that style, that elegance, the fineness of the bubbles, and the silky touch kind of the bubble. That creaminess is really something important for us.
And how long was this on lees for?
So 2008 bottled in 2009, but we like also we have a long aging, but then we also like to have time after disgorgement. So we like to have minimum 1 year of disgorgement. So that one was disgorged. I mean, the one we sent to you was disgorged end of 2020. So 11 years on lease plus 1 year and a half after disgorgement. Two types of aging which are different but also complementary to get more complexity. We test blind also for the dosage. So we make different samples, and what we're looking for is harmony and balance. 2008 was so acidic, so fresh, that we needed 10 grams. I really want to highlight that we are not looking for a number, but really an harmony on the palate. And from one vintage to another, it can go from 10, more if we need, probably not, or 6, 5 if we think that we need less sugar according to the balance of the vintage.
Shall we move on to the rosé?
Yes, if you're ready for that.
Wonderful.
This is only the third release of a rosé for Rare Champagne. The first released was 2007. The second one was 2008. This is the one currently on the market. And 2012 is the brand new one, which is just arriving right now on the market, pretty much everywhere in the world. So you are one of the first in the world to taste it, actually.
Fantastic.
We started with 2007. Back in 2007, Rare was still the prestige cuvée for Piper. So Rare Rosé, the very first one, was a bit darker than the one you have in your glass right now. So you still found kind of the style and the touch of Piper Heidsieck Rosé and Piper Heidsieck Spirit in the very first opus of Rare Rosé 2007. Then with Rare Rosé 2008, Régis started to really feel the style of Rare Rosé and define it. And with 12, we are in the direct line of what we had with Rare Rosé 2008, with the style in terms of color, in terms of touch on the palate and aromas as well. Of course, different vintage. 12 is way more open, generous, gourmand, and seductive than 8, which is more on the shy, the mineral side. But still, for me, this is really the achievement kind of the style of Rare Rosé, and that's the the footstep kind of the print we want to keep for the future. So in terms of blend for that one, we have 12 different villages only. It's a rosé that we make by blend, and for the red part of the blend, we use some pinot noir from Les Riceys. So according to the vintage, we might choose Les Riceys or Bouzy or both of them. In the case of 2012, it's exclusively Les Riceys. We have dedicated vineyard over there to make red wine, especially with a different type of pruning to have lower yield. Of course, we harvest later to get the ripeness, the color, the nice fruit aromas, but no tannins, no greenness, no green aromas. We want really to have that juicy, crispy red fruit. And then by the art of blending, we blend it with some white fermented Pinot Noir to reach total Pinot Noir 40%. That we blend also with 60% of Chardonnay. And again, you have Villers-Marmerie for half of it, more or less. And then the rest of the blend is, in that case, exclusively from Côte des Blancs. So you have no Mongueux in the case of the 2012, for example. So you have some Pertu, some Ménil, some Auger, some Chouilly as well. I think that's it. And for the...
And what is the percentage of the red wine from Pinot Noir? Like 5%?
A bit more. I think we are at 8 for that one. Yeah, 8.
Mm.
And again, it's 8 in 2012. It was more in 2008. Every year is different, so sometimes you don't get the same color. So for 2008, we needed a bit more. So we want Rare Rosé to be very delicate and have again the balance. What I love about 12 is the balance between the fruit family, the flower family, and the spice family. All of them are here and quite balanced, and that's really what I love about the nose of Rare Rosé.
Mm-hmm. So like lots of fresh red fruit and crunchiness. But again, I have this saltiness on the palate that I love, along with a bit of that spice, like a bit of white pepper, a little bit of clove character to it.
Mm-hmm. That's the spice I get too, and that minerality, that salinity you said is really the signature part of the signature of rare that we want to keep in the future. And I have also some flowers, a touch of rose. Today, I don't know for you, but today every day is different. I feel more the fruitiness and the spiciness, as you say. The flower is there, but more shy than yesterday, for example. And on the fruity side, I have some nice wild strawberries. Some guava as well.
Moi, j'avais la cherry too.
Some cherry, yeah.
Yeah, I get fresh and dried cherries on this. Lovely combination. Is there any winemaking differences between the normal rare and the rosé in terms of how you vinify the wine?
No, for the vinification, no, there is no tricks. My philosophy, and that was a philosophy also of Régis before me and the team, is really to let the fruit talk. So everything is stainless steel fermented. We keep separate each vintage, of course, each grape as well, but also each terroir, each village, and when we can, each vineyard that we want to keep separate. And then it's really by the degustation, the tasting, and the characterization of each wine that we figure out how we can blend it together. In that case, we make a rosé. We know that we will have the red wine that will bring the generosity and the fruitiness. So we need to balance it with a touch of extra freshness, for example. So that's really by the art of blending that we find and figure out that balance. That's the way we do it. In the two champagne you tasted today, it's 100% malolactic down. So you cannot feel it because there is a lot of freshness, but the malolactic fermentation is done. Because of global warming, the condition of growth, the conditions are changing, and the balance of the grapes is also changing. So today, we decide case by case if we block the malolactic fermentation or not. So in the future of rare champagne, you might see small percentage of no malo wine to bring back that extra layer of freshness, acidity, salinity, bitterness also that we like for great champagne.
But for these two, especially the rosé, you have a wonderful freshness, and you don't, as you said, you don't feel the MLF at all.
Yeah. Any guess about the dosage for that one?
6 grams?
7. So this is except Rare Le Secret, because we have also an offer of Magnum older vintages, which is 0 dosage, but this is the only one. This is the exception, which is confirming the rule. But besides that, yes, this is the lowest dosage we ever made for rare, including rare rosé and rare white. So yeah.
Wonderful.
And the color is typical from a rare rosé.
Yeah, it's like a pale, like salmony copper color.
Yeah. It's what we call calcédoine. Is a kind of pink quartz. The quartz, the stone.
How do you say it? What's the name?
Calcédoine.
Calcédoine.
I don't know in English. But
maybe like a rose quartz, maybe in English.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly, rose quartz.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was super interesting. Lovely wines.
Thank you for your time.